Anti-Semitic history of the Catholic Church. Anti-Semitism is the hatred and prejudice of the Jewish people, and the Catholic Church has a long history of this. I will explain examples in this video. Justin Martyr is recognized as a saint and church father, and his writings are highly respected. He wrote that circumcision was given to Jews to separate them from Christians because of their wickedness, and Justin Martyr blames the death of Jesus on Jews. Tertullian is venerated as a church father. He taught that non-Jews were superior to Jews and Jews were punished for killing Jesus. Canon 16 of the Synod of Elvira banned marriage to a Jew in 306 AD. The Council of Nicaea in 325 AD established major Christian beliefs and condemned the Jews and demanded a separation from their practices. Constantius II was the Roman emperor who worked closely with the Catholic Church and criminalized marriage between a Jew and a Christian by death, and in 339 converting to Judaism became a criminal offense. Between 379 to 395 AD, Emperor Theodosius the Great, who made Christianity the state religion of the Roman Empire, permitted the destruction of synagogues if it served a religious purpose. In 528, Emperor Justinian, who staunchly defended the Chalcedonian Catholic Church, passed the Justinian Code, which banned Jews to testify against Christians in court. Epiphanius was a bishop, a saint, and a church father. He called Judaism one of the main forms of heresy. Hippolytus of Rome was a saint. He wrote that Jews darken the souls of Christians. Ambrose is a Catholic saint, bishop, church father, and doctor of the Church. He called Jews enemies and assassins of Christ and demanded Christians hate them and enslave them. Augustine is almost universally respected in the Catholic Church, being a saint, bishop, church father, doctor of the Church, and has a branch of Christian spirituality modeled after him, Augustinianism. Augustine wrote comments against Jewish people and expressed desire for their murder. John Chrysostom is a highly respected member of the Catholic Church, being considered a saint, church father, archbishop, and doctor of the Church, and was even called the Golden Mouth because of how perfect his teachings were. He performed anti-Semitic speeches, in particular his homilies against the Jews, and referred to them as beasts worthy of being killed and as killers of Jesus. Gregory of Nyssa was a bishop, saint, and church father. He taught Christians should hate the Jews. Jerome is respected in the Catholic Church as a saint, church father, and doctor of the Church. He wrote how Jews are cursed because of Judas and how Jews are his enemies. These were later used as the basis of anti-Semitic prayers in Good Friday liturgy. Origen is regarded as a church father in the Catholic Church and wrote how all Jews were guilty of the murder of Jesus and Christians have replaced the Jews due to their sin. Ephraim is venerated as a saint and doctor, the Church. He accused all Jews of being guilty of killing Jesus and warned anyone from interacting with them, which would make them also guilty. He also called Jews worse than beasts. Peter the Venerable was a Catholic theologian and has been beatified by the Church. He wrote that Jews were less than human and cursed for killing Jesus. Third Council of Toledo banned Jews from marrying Christians and banned them from holding office in Canon 14. The 17th Council of Toledo in 694 AD declared that Jews must have their property stolen and enslaved by Christians. Pope Urban II commanded all Christians to fight violently against the enemies of the Church, which was widely interpreted to be against Jews, which would lead to anti-Semitic massacres. Rhineland Massacre. During the First Crusade in 1096, 2,000 Jews were killed in Germany. This was encouraged by Catholic priest Peter the Hermit. Up to 5,000 Jews were killed in total during the First Crusade. The infallible Third Council of the Lateran in 1179 AD declared that the testimony of a Jew was inferior to the testimony of a Christian. The council also forbade Christians to work for Jews or live with them. At least 150 Jews were killed in France during the Second Crusade on the orders of Catholic monk Radulf the Cistercian. During the Third Crusade between 1189 to 1190, over 200 Jews were killed in London, Northampton, and York. The Fourth Council of the Lateran in 1215 was an infallible council ruling on the Catholic faith and banned Jews from holding public office and demanded their segregation, preventing any interracial relationships with the Jews. Louis IX was the only king of France ever made a saint and has a saint feast day for him on the 25th of August and has 2 Catholic religious orders named after him. He earned his sainthood when he banned Jews from taking loans, had 12,000 Jewish books burned, expelled Jews, took property from Jews and forced Jews to be segregated by wearing a yellow badge of a Star of David. He also had the tongues of Jews cut off for denying Jesus and Jewish leaders arrested. Rindfleisch massacres. 100,000 Jews were killed in France in 1298, which was justified by a Catholic lord claiming to have a vision from heaven telling him to exterminate the Jews. Thomas Aquinas was a saint, doctor of the Church, and has an entire branch of Catholic philosophy named after him, Thomism. The Code of Canon Law says we should base our teaching on him. He defended the enslavement of Jews. During the Shepherd's Crusade in 1320, over 500 Jews were killed in France, and this was encouraged by Pope John XXII. In 1391, 50,000 Jews were killed in Spain on the orders of Archdeacon Ferrand Martinez. Vienna Gesserit. In 1420, all Jews in Austria were arrested by the Catholic monarchs and 200 were burned at the stake. Good Friday prayers. In the Catholic Church, it was standard practice until 1955 to do a prayer on Good Friday calling the Jews treacherous. These prayers would be performed without genuflecting, since it was believed the Jews were not worthy of such respect. Synod of Narbonne. In 1227, Canon 3 of the Synod of Narbonne required Jews to wear an oval badge. Pope Innocent III declared Jews to be killers of Christ and compared them to the condemned first murderer, Cain, and made to be slaves. Pope Gregory IX had Jewish books burned in mass quantities in 1239 and commanded all Catholic monarchs in Europe to do the same. Pope Sixtus IV. He authorized the Spanish Inquisition, in which 5,000 Jews were killed. Pope Paul III. He authorized the Portuguese Inquisition, in which 40,000 Jews were killed. Blood libel myth. Many children's deaths were blamed on the Jews, which created an anti-Semitic myth that Jews sacrifice and eat Christian children in satanic rituals. Examples include William of Norwich, St. Hugh of Lincoln, and Simon of Trent. These children were beatified by the Catholic Church, with Simon of Trent even listed as a saint on the general Roman calendar, which perpetuated this myth. Pope Paul IV had Jews segregated and banned from owning property or practicing medicine in his papal bull Cum Nimis Absurdum, and had them condemned to slavery. Jesuits. Until 1946, all ethnic Jews were banned from becoming members of the Society of Jesus. In 1858, Pope Pius IX had a 6-year-old Jewish boy named Edgardo Mortara kidnapped from his family and forcibly taken to the Papal States. He also called Jews dogs and reinstalled ghettos to segregate Jews. Pope Pius XI praised Ernest Jewin and made him Protonotary Apostolic for translating the Protocols of Zion into French, which was anti-Semitic hoax promoting the idea that Jews are plotting to take over the world. Pope Pius XII called the Jews curses of Jesus and murderers of God even in the midst of World War II. He also signed the Reichskonkordat, where he promised to never interfere with Nazi Germany, which allowed the Holocaust to happen. Pope Benedict XVI was a member of Hitler Youth. He later fought for Nazi Germany in the Luftwaffenhilfe and Reich Labor Service until the end of World War II. Thanks for watching. I will make my next video about the problems with original sin as soon as I can.